professionally?
I think that what it's done is given us an opportunity to teach our youngsters some things about life that are the unexpected challenges that we have in life, and that you have to make adjustments. And even though in our case we were extremely disappointed not having an opportunity to participate for the ACC championship, and we felt we were on a roll going into the NCAA tournament, these challenges that we have are bigger than the enjoyment and the pleasures that we would have had and would enjoy participating in basketball if someone had unfortunately got the virus and had something unfortunate happen to them. This would have been pale. What we were doing was pale in comparison. So our guys adjusted, and what we're going to do is utilize the pain of not having a chance to participate in the NCAA tournament to fuel our energy and our focus for the upcoming season.
Now, Coach, tell me a little bit about. I'm sorry, and that was a great point. I'm gonna pass that question around the round table in a minute. But before I do, before each one of you guys speak, I need you to tell me where you players at in your year. So, Coach, I'm gonna let you finish your statement with yours, and then the rest of the guys can start with theirs.
My name is Leonard Hamilton, Zeta Kappa Chapter, Kappa Alpha Psi, University of Tennessee at Martin, April the 16th, 1971. There's a tremendous amount of challenges. The biggest challenge is their mentality. Learn how to develop the focus where you learn to compete as hard as you can in every possession of the entire practice. When you're the most talented player on your team and you have the board files in high school, you take a lot of possessions off. What I find that youngsters have a difficult time adjusting to the intensity, the focus that it takes on the court, and then it's challenging for them to adjust to the workload, the challenge of going to study hall, studying, lifting weights, getting all your extra work in, and then eating right, getting the proper rest. That's a lot more challenging for youngsters coming in, so you have to be extremely disciplined. And that's something that we work hard at developing and making sure they understand that now, instead of being the man, you one of the boys. And that's sometimes extremely challenging when you have people in their ears who really have more of a challenge adjusting to it than the players actually do on the team.
Good deal. So here's a question, another hot topic I'm gonna throw around the table. A lot of buzz about the transfer portal. A lot of different opinions. Had hundreds of coaches on here got different opinions. I want to hear from you guys your thoughts on the transfer portal, good, bad, indifferent. You know, some like it, some don't. Some just going to adjust to it just because they have to. But what do you think about it? Coach Ham, I'll start with you.
Well, to be very honest with you, I have a lot of serious thoughts about this, and I've been in it long enough to understand. I think that I don't know if there's anything good about guys being able to start their life off with being able to break contracts without really having any kind of penalty. I think if things are not going well for you, you need to you can make an adjustment, and we have a vehicle by which you transfer, you set out the year, you make your adjustments, and you move on. I don't like the fact that, you know, in life, if I get married and I get a divorce, I'm breaking a contract, and there are stipulations that you have to adhere to. If you don't pay for a car, you got issues. If you don't live up to the contract with your house payments, you have consequences. If you're at the Lakers, you can't just leave the Lakers and go over to the Clippers. You know, you have a contract that you have to adhere to. But now in college, you know, you can, if you got a child and he comes in late after curfew, he's 16 years old, he comes in at 2 o'clock, you take his keys, you can wake up the next morning and all his clothes will be gone. He can move next door with the neighbors and they let him drive their car with no curfew. I'm just saying to you, we are now developing a situation where guys don't have to make any adjustments, learn, grow, or make any sacrifices. If I yell at a player too loud, he can transfer in the portal. If I don't play him the right number of minutes, he can transfer in the portal with no penalty. In other words, I can play in all year. And I just think it's a challenging for a mid-level coach to develop a kid for 3 years, and then all of a sudden, his 4th year, he's gone. Now, personally, Florida State will benefit by that portal action, because everybody who wants to transfer is calling us on the phone. Now, so I can benefit from it, but it's not right for college basketball. It's not right for what you teach kids. Now, and if there will be circumstances by which a kid probably needs to transfer. But now we got 800 or 900 kids transferring every year. Now, something's wrong with that picture. So I'm saying that right now we need to have more conversations about how we're going to handle this, where we address the need for kids to transfer when they need to, but now it's free for all, and it's become a real problem.
Yeah. Wow. That's good.
Anybody?
Well, I don't have a problem with addressing that. In the last 28 years of coaching, I've only had 6 kids not graduate that have been with me for 4 years. I've been at Florida State now, going on my 19th year. I've only had 3 kids not graduate. I realize the importance of graduating and getting your degrees. Now, but I don't mind taking a chance on a kid with a little bit of edge. We try to do the very best job we can of trying to evaluate the personalities of youngsters, but we hold them accountable academically. And sometimes you have to take kids who maybe might just need to be growing. And we only take kids who are perfect, with high character and perfect and do all the things the right way, then I'm not real sure we really contributing that much to what we should be contributing to. Thank God somebody tried to help me. I take that seriously, but it's a moving target. And I think I get very concerned when I see the low graduation rates with successful basketball programs all over the country. Mm-hmm. I think that we should be holding everybody accountable. Everybody should be able to be focused on getting their degrees. But so many rules and regulations that now that we are putting into effect are counterproductive to the focus of kids getting education. And that's another conversation that we really need to have from the NCAA standpoint, the coaches, the NABC, the NBA, the D League, the G League. We need to have a lot of conversation about decisions that we make on what's best for the kids that our kids that are going to college and playing in the NBA, playing AAU ball. And right now it's all over the place, and we're losing focus on those 2 areas. Jabari,
yes, sir.
One of the topics you have here about the process that parents and student athletes should know and be aware of.
Yes, sir.
And segueing what she was talking about. This is a different time now. We're dealing with something that we never had to deal with before. This could be a young 1-year deal. This could be a 2-year deal. And I'm not real sure. I am sure that the youngsters that we're recruiting, no one has really taken under consideration that there's a strong possibility that we might not be able to evaluate players this summer. And then we don't have any idea what it's going to be like, whether or not they're going to be able to visit our school or whether or not we're going to be able to visit them. And I want to encourage people and parents and students to start looking at this with a different type of attitude. You know, I'm talking to people and they're talking about, well, we're interested in taking our visits. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And right now, we don't know if that's going to be practical. So I would just encourage people to be a little more focused now on trying to evaluate the schools you want to consider and understand that from a coaching standpoint, you know, just like they're talking to 4 or 5 different schools, we're talking to 3 or 4 different kids per position. And they might be leaning toward a school, but thinking that they have to become America's guest, and someone might take a scholarship away from where that youngster wants to go. So I think we all in a different set of circumstances right now that I'm not real sure we have enough conversation about. Because, you know, come November the 14th, when signing dates come, how many kids would I have had an opportunity to evaluate? How many homes would I have to have an opportunity to go in? How many kids would I been able to bring on campus? It could be a few, but it could not be any. But we still need to be responsible for making some decisions, because November, the National Intent Date, we need to start thinking about that and have a little bit more dialogue, because everybody's going to be in a panic if we don't start talking about that now and try to get an idea of what direction we're going to go in.
So speaking of that, that's a great point. These are unprecedented times. So for that recruit that's still trying to gain exposure and get in front of coaches, and he didn't have a spring live period, he may not have a summer live period to get evaluated by you guys. What should he do? If I got a son in my house that's still trying to get in front of coaches, what's your best piece of advice during these unprecedented times?
That's what I'm saying. I think we're going to have to communicate with your coaches,
Okay.
Your high school coach, your AAU coach. We might have to be a little more aggressive about sending films out and talking to people about whether or not the level of interest is there for one school or another, and try to figure out seriously who is recruiting you and who's going to offer you a scholarship, and whether or not academically you are prepared to put yourself in a position where you can accept scholarships. I mean, right now we need to start honing in and having conversations. Where am I academically? Who's really interested in me? Who's seriously interested in me? Now, if I'm interested in a school that's not interested in me, do I have my coach call them? Do we send them some film? Because right now we can't even get in the gym to try to have workouts, or it could not be in the AAU ball for you to develop some films to send someone to be able to see. These are different circumstances that we operate under. And I'm kind of getting people thinking it's status quo, but it's not. And kids need to start trying to come up with some strategies with their coaches, their people who care the most about them, to try to help them sort out what direction they want to go in.
Anybody else?
Well, I like to chime in on that a little bit, and I didn't want to dominate the conversation. We were talking about character and academics for kids. And we have more difficulties drowning out the noise that they're getting from adults of people who are trying to tell kids how to get to a place where they've never been themselves. And everybody, for whatever reason, thinks that they're going to the NBA. You only have 20 to 25 at the most positions coming available every year. You only have 500 NBA jobs totally. And you got 5,200 kids playing college Division I basketball, and every one of them think they're going to the NBA. Like I said, we need to have a conversation, and we're not doing that. We got so many committees making decisions about what's best, a committee over here, a committee over there, a committee over here. And right now, we don't have the leadership in college basketball we need. We haven't had anybody speak up about the D League going on UCLA's campus in April and offering the kid money, breaking that contract. That's extremely challenging for any of us to even think about. But no one's afraid to speak up about that. And right now there are so many challenging things going on that we need to have everybody in one place, and let's start making decisions based on what's best for basketball. Whenever you can have a situation when you're going to have almost 200 and some kids putting their name as hardships in the NBA draft, and you only got 60 spots to be drafted. And what concerns me is that you have some kids that legitimately need to pursue their careers. So how do we give the elite athletes an opportunity to realize their dreams, but we don't give youngsters who are chasing the pot at the end of the rainbow when there's no rainbow or no pot of gold there to put themselves in positions where in 5 or 6 years we're going to have 500 African-American kids running around 25, 26 years old with no NBA career, no degrees, kids, family with no jobs, and what are they going to do for a living? And we created that situation about how we handling our business, all of us being self-serving, all of us being selfish, and we're still not having a conversation about what's best for the game and what's best for the kids that are playing the game, that have allowed all of us to have a nice life. Have a vehicle by which kids who are of the elite level have an opportunity to move on. It would be selfish of us not to appreciate and respect the fact that the D League and the NBA has created an opportunity, a vehicle which some kids who are not interested in going to college have a chance to realize their dream. But we can't be all stepping on each other's toes. And right now, it's all over the place. It's right now, we have guys that have absolutely no shot to get drafted, but they testing the waters. And I'm saying, come on, if you got to test the waters, that's your answer. But we encouraging that. And I'm saying right now we have a situation, in my opinion, is almost like the pandemic. You know, we creating some issues that we're gonna sit back and look 5 or 6 years from now and say, how did we let this happen? And I'm back to what I said initially in the first conversation. We need to get together and have a conversation where we all make decisions based on what's best for the game and for the future. Right now, I think we all have been selfish, including us as coaches, and I want to not be guilty of that. But I'm concerned about the position that we're in, the status of our game, and what I see happening to the mentality of our kids for the future.
Is that everybody? Coach Ham, you gonna bring us home?
Well, I think we got to make sure we don't lose sight of the fact that academics are very, very important for the parents and for the kids out there. They need to, and the coaches, we need to make sure we understand we have to prepare ourselves academically, because without that, we can't make anything happen. The second thing I think we need to understand, we need to have a great moral compass. Do unto others and have people do unto you. Just do the right thing, have right character. The third thing is that don't let anybody outwork you. You can control that. You might not control the talent, but your effort that you give and the focus that you give, you control that. Somebody might make a mistake, might not misjudge you, so you got to make sure that you don't let nobody outwork you. Fourth thing is that don't make any excuses. You know, you can't control the outcome of anything, and you control your own destiny. But when you're making excuses because someone beat you out because you just didn't get the job done, if you do those four things, you know, you're going to have a pretty nice life.